Hello, dear friend. Welcome back to English Talks with Avie. Relax, listen, and improve your English. Hello, I am Emma.
And I am Daniel.
Today, I have a little confession to make. Yesterday, I saw my classmate walking toward me at the supermarket. She is very nice, but she owes me $20 from last month, and she forgot about it.
Oh, the classic money situation. Did you ask her for it?
No, I panicked. I pretended to look at a box of cereal very intensely until she walked past. I spent 10 minutes hiding in the breakfast aisle just to avoid an awkward chat.
I think everyone listening to this is nodding their head right now. We all do that. We see someone we need to have a serious talk with, and suddenly we become very interested in supermarket shelves or our phones.
It's so true. Whether it's asking for a salary raise, telling a friend they upset you, or confronting a family member about their behavior, human beings hate uncomfortable moments.
But here's the problem. When we avoid these discussions, the problem doesn't go away. It actually grows bigger in our minds.
Exactly. That is our core message today. Avoiding a hard conversation doesn't make the problem disappear. It just means you stop having any real conversation at all. You start wearing a mask around that person.
So today, we're going to take off the masks. We're going to give you a few specific step-by-step phrases to help you handle these situations with kindness and confidence. And to make it fun, Emma and I are going to do some live role plays right now.
Okay, Daniel. Let's start with scenario number 1. This happens to everyone. A good friend says or does something that hurts your feelings, but you don't want to start a fight.
Right. You don't want to say, you are a terrible person because you love them, but you're still sad. How will you express this?
Exactly. The magic phrase here is, I'm bringing this up because I value us. This is a beautiful phrase because it tells the other person immediately that you are not attacking them. You are trying to save the friendship.
I'm bringing this up because I value us. I love that. It opens the door safely. Let's try a role play. You'll be the friend who forgot my birthday last week.
Ooh, ouch. Okay, I forgot your birthday. Let's do the live role play now.
Hey, Emma, do you have a minute? I'm bringing this up because I value us, but I felt really sad when you didn't call or text me on my birthday last Tuesday.
Wait, Daniel, hold on. You can't just accuse me like that. I was busy. I have a life, you know?
Wait, stop. Is this the blooper version or the real version?
That was a total blooper. I reacted too defensively because your voice sounded a little bit tense. Let's try it again, but more relaxed. Take 2.
Okay, let me soften my voice. Hey, Emma, do you have a minute? I'm bringing this up because I value us, but I felt a bit hurt when you forgot my birthday last week. I missed talking to you.
Oh, Daniel, I am so incredibly sorry. You're right, I completely lost track of the days because of my exams. I feel terrible. Thank you for telling me.
Cool, that went so well. And did you notice the second magic phrase I used there? I said, I felt when you.
Yes, that is a famous psychological tool. Instead of saying, you are irresponsible, which makes the person angry, you say, I felt hurt when you forgot. You are talking about your feelings, and no one can argue with your feelings.
Exactly. It makes the conversation a collaboration instead of a war.
Now, let's move to scenario number 2, the workplace. This is where English learners feel the most terrified. Imagine you have worked at your company for 2 years. You do an excellent job, but your salary is exactly the same as day 1. You want to ask for a raise.
Oh, that makes my palms sweaty just thinking about it. Asking a boss for money feels like asking a tiger for its lunch.
A tiger? Well, your boss isn't a tiger, but you do need professional language. The key phrase here is, I'd appreciate it if we could discuss.
I'd appreciate it if. That sounds very polite and formal.
Yes, it shows respect. Let's do the role play. I will be the strict boss, and you try to ask me. Go.
Excuse me, boss. Do you have 5 minutes? I'd appreciate it if we could discuss my future and my salary at this company.
Well, Daniel, you know the economy's very difficult right now. We don't have a lot of extra budget.
But boss, that's a lie. I saw you buy a new sports car yesterday. Give me more money, or I quit.
Stop. You definitely can't say that to the tiger.
I couldn't help it. The sports car comment just came out. Okay, let's do the professional version. Let me try again.
Take 2. Well, Daniel, you know the economy is difficult right now. We don't have a lot of budget.
I understand that, boss. However, over the past year, I have taken on 3 new projects and increased our sales by 15%. I'd really appreciate it if we could look at adjusting my compensation to reflect that value.
You make a good point, Daniel. You have been working very hard. Let me look at the numbers, and we can talk again on Friday.
Phew, that was much better. No mentions of sports cars.
Excellent job. What did you do right there? You used facts, not emotions. You used, I'd appreciate it if, and you showed your value. A good boss cannot get angry at facts that are presented politely.
True, it turns an emotional request into a business negotiation.
Now let's look at scenario number 3, family or roommates. This is often the hardest because you live with these people. You see them every single day. So if the conversation goes badly, the house feels like a prison.
Like a roommate who leaves their dirty dishes in the sink for 4 days until the kitchen smells like a swamp?
Yes, or a family member who constantly criticizes your choices, like your clothes, your weight, or your career.
How do we handle that without shouting?
You can combine the phrases. You start with the reason you are talking. You state the problem using I felt, and you finish with I'd appreciate it if. It's like a 3-step sandwich.
A conversation sandwich. Let's try it. I'll be the annoying roommate who never cleans, and you confront me.
Okay, let's go. Hey, Daniel, do you have a second? I'm bringing this up because I value our living situation, and I want us to be comfortable. But I feel really stressed when you leave your dishes in the sink for days. I'd really appreciate it if you could wash them after dinner.
Oh, sorry, Emma. I've just been so tired after work. I usually just collapse on the bed. But I didn't realize it was making you stressed. I'll clean them tonight.
Thank you, Daniel. I know you're tired, and I appreciate your help.
Wow, that sandwich worked perfectly. It wasn't aggressive, and I didn't feel the need to defend myself.
Exactly. Because I used I feel stressed instead of you are dirty, you didn't feel attacked.
You know, Emma, as we talk about this, I realize something important for our language learners. Often, when people speak a second language, they're so focused on grammar that their tone can sound a bit direct or sharp without meaning to be.
Oh, that is a huge point. If you don't know phrases like I'm afraid or I'd appreciate it, you might just say I need more money or clean the kitchen. It sounds like an order.
Yes, and the other person thinks you're being rude, but actually you're just using the words you know.
That is why learning these softening phrases is so important. They're like lubricants for language. They make the communication slide smoothly, even if your grammar isn't perfect.
I think it's also related to bravery. Despite the fear of making a language mistake, having the conversation in English is better than staying silent and letting anger build up inside you.
Definitely. Anger is like acid. It hurts the container it is in. If you keep your feelings inside, you will eventually explode over something small, like someone using your favorite mug.
I've seen you explode over a mug, Emma. It's terrifying.
Exactly, because I didn't say anything about the bigger problems earlier.
So let's promise our listeners and ourselves to use the three-step sandwich. As we wrap up today's episode, let's remember the key message.
When you choose to avoid a difficult conversation, you think you're keeping the peace, but you aren't. You're just moving the conflict into yourself.
Every time you stay silent when you should speak, a tiny brick goes up between you and the other person. Eventually, you have a giant wall, and you can't see each other at all.
Speak up and use your words as a bridge, not a weapon.
For our English learners, practice these phrases this week. Say them out loud when you are alone in your room. I'm bringing this up because I value us. I'd appreciate it if... By practicing more, you will get used to it.
And don't be nervous. Don't worry about saying the wrong thing at first. It's only natural to make mistakes. We simply need to speak our truth with kindness.
We would love to know, is there a difficult conversation you need to have this week? Which phrase will you use?
Tell us in the comments section below. Sharing your goals with our community is a great way to build your confidence.
And if this episode gave you a little bit of practical help, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. You can also share it with a friend who might need a little courage today.
Well, Emma, speaking of hard conversations, I actually need to bring something up because I value our podcast.
Oh, what is it, Daniel?
I felt very hungry when you ate the last chocolate chip cookie earlier. I'd appreciate it if you bought a new pack next week.
Wow, that was great. Okay. I promise I will buy a giant pack on Monday.
The method works.
This is Emma.
And this is Daniel.
See you in the next video.
Bye for now.
Thank you for listening. Subscribe for more English Talks with Avie. You can explore more videos here. Thanks.